All right, so we're back, and today we're going to be looking at something that I saw at the store the other day and got me kind of intrigued.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these new KitKat Sharing Bars. Yeah, have you seen these?
Yeah, I have actually. I've seen them around. They're quite striking, aren't they?
They are. I mean, they really stand out on the shelf. You know, you've got that classic KitKat look, but then it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
this thing is massive. And it got me thinking, you know, are they really for sharing?
Right.
Or is it just, you know, a clever way to get us to eat a whole lot more chocolate?
Yeah. Good question. I mean, it's definitely playing with that classic format, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's still got that Kit Kat look, but it's more like a
Healthy
slab, you know, like
Stick slab, yeah.
a big slab of chocolate with the wafers running through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Designed to break apart and share.
So, okay, let's talk flavors. Because,
Okay.
you know, I love a good Kit Kat, but I gotta say, if they're only offering, like, plain milk chocolate, I'm not sure I'm sold on the whole sharing thing.
Well, they've actually gone a bit more adventurous with the flavors for these. They've launched with three to start with. There's a salted caramel, a hazelnut, and a double chocolate.
Ooh, okay.
So pretty tempting, I think.
Yeah, that salted caramel's calling my name already.
Yeah, it does sound good, doesn't it?
But seriously, these things are huge. Like, how are you supposed to resist just devouring the whole thing in one go?
Well, they have thought of that, actually. The packaging is resealable.
Oh.
So theoretically, you could have a few pieces and then save the rest for later.
If you have the willpower, right.
Exactly.
We'll see about that. But it's good to know they've considered portion control because
Yeah.
it's a tempting proposition.
Definitely. I mean, they've definitely hit those decadent, indulgent flavors.
Yeah.
But
I do wonder, though, any word on a classic milk chocolate or maybe even a mint?
not in this initial lineup, no. They seem to be focusing on more premium,
Okay.
indulgent kind of flavors for these first three.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of premium, what's the damage? How much are these bad boys going to set me back?
They range from about £1.25 to $2.50,
Okay.
depending on where you buy them. You can find them pretty much everywhere, actually.
Right.
All the major supermarkets, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, Morrison's, you know,
Sure.
all those convenience stores as well. And, of course, online, Amazon, Ocado, that sort of thing.
Okay, so not too bad, especially if you are actually sharing. But is there anything else that makes these bars, you know, unique? Like, aside from the size and the flavors, what's the story here?
Well, you know, you mentioned sharing, right?
Yeah.
And that's not just about the format. They're actually part of Kit Kat's Breaks for Good mission.
Breaks for good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's that all about?
So basically, it's Kit Kat's commitment to sustainable cocoa sourcing, reducing their environmental impact, and, you know, trying to improve the lives of cocoa farmers in their communities.
Oh, wow. That's actually really cool. I mean, it's great to see a company taking those things seriously,
Yeah,
especially in the chocolate industry.
absolutely. And it kind of gives you a feel-good factor, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always feel better about my choices when I know there's some positive impact behind them.
Definitely.
But, okay, let's get back to basics for a second. How do these bars actually compare to, you know, the classic four-finger Kit Kat in terms of taste and texture? Is it the same wafer to chocolate ratio?
That's a good question. And the answer is not quite. The sharing bars actually have a higher chocolate to wafer ratio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so more chocolate per bite,
Okay,
which could be a good thing or a bad thing.
right. Depends on your preference.
Yeah, exactly. Some people might miss that classic balance. But they have kept that crispy wafer crunch, you know, the thing that makes a Kit Kat a Kit Kat.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I'm all for a bit more chocolate, but I can see how some people might prefer that original balance.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've got the flavors, the size, the whole sustainability angle, but what about the ingredients?
Right.
Are we talking, you know, artificial flavors and colors here?
Good news on that front.
Yeah.
These sharing bars are free from artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives.
Right.
And they're also suitable for vegetarians.
Okay, so convenient packaging, a decent price point, ethical sourcing, no artificial ingredients. These bars are ticking a lot of boxes.
They are.
But are they really meant for sharing? Or are they just, you know, cleverly disguised, single-serving behemoths?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I suppose it depends on how generous you're feeling.
That's fair. Okay, before we get into the whole sharing dilemma, though, I'm curious about the actual experience of eating these bars. What are your thoughts? Like, how did they actually taste? Did they live up to the hype?
Let's just say they're very more-ish. You know those flavors? They're rich, they're satisfying, and yeah, that extra chocolate definitely makes them feel indulgent. But I'll be honest, I did struggle not to eat the whole bar.
So sharing is encouraged, but not guaranteed.
Pretty much.
Sounds like a good excuse to buy 2 bars, you know. One for sharing, one for quality control.
I like the way you think.
It's just interesting to see this move from KitKat.
Yeah.
Taking something so classic and giving it this fresh twist. It feels like we're seeing that a lot with snacks these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart strategy, right? You tap into that nostalgia, but then offer something new and exciting as well.
Yeah.
And it seems to work. People like that familiar comfort, but with a little bit of novelty.
Speaking of exciting, I know these bars are only in the UK at the moment.
Yeah.
Any word on a global launch?
Nothing official yet, but I mean, KitKat's huge worldwide, so I would be surprised if we see these sharing bars popping up in other places soon.
Fingers crossed. Now let's talk a bit more about that Breaks for Good mission.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than just a slogan, right? What are they actually doing to make a difference?
Absolutely. It's tied into Nestlé's Cocoa Plan, which focuses on sustainable sourcing, fair wages for farmers, responsible farming, all that good stuff.
It's good to hear they're taking concrete steps. Can you tell us a bit more about the sustainable sourcing? Like, what does that involve specifically?
Sure. So it's a whole multifaceted approach, right? It means working directly with farmers to provide training in sustainable techniques that improve crop yield, protect the environment.
So they're really invested in the whole ecosystem then?
Yeah, it's about a holistic approach. And they're also working on reducing their carbon footprint across the whole supply chain, like investing in renewable energy for their factories, optimizing transport routes to cut down emissions.
That's impressive. It sounds like a really comprehensive effort.
It is. They're also investing in community development projects in those cocoa growing regions.
Okay.
Things like providing access to education and healthcare for farmers and their families, which makes a huge difference to their livelihoods.
So it's sustainable cocoa, environmental protection, and community development. Sounds like they're covering all the bases.
Yeah, they're really trying to make a positive impact at every stage.
We see a lot of companies making commitments to ethical sourcing these days.
We do.
But it's always good to hear about the actual actions being taken. What kind of impact are these initiatives having on the chocolate industry as a whole?
I think they're definitely raising the bar for the industry. Promoting those sustainable practices contributes to the long-term health of the cocoa supply chain and the well-being of the communities involved.
Right.
And it's not just good for the companies, it's good for consumers too.
Yeah, absolutely. People are much more aware these days,
Yeah,
and they want to support brands that align with their values.
Yeah, for sure.
So these KitKat Sharing Bars, they're not just a tasty treat, they're also a reflection of a more conscious approach to chocolate production.
I think that's a great way to put it.
All right, so we've talked about the flavors, the format, the ethical considerations, but the big question remains, are they worth the hype?
Good question. Let's weigh up the pros and cons.
Okay, so on the plus side, we've got those delicious flavors, the generous size, which is great for sharing, no artificial ingredients, the resealable packaging, and of course that feel-good factor of supporting their Breaks for Good mission.
All good points. And then on the downside, well, there's the potential to overindulge, right?
Definitely risk.
The wafer to chocolate ratio, which might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
Limited flavor selection at the moment. And they are a bit pricier than your standard 4-finger KitKat.
It's a mixed bag, but I'm leaning towards worth it.
Yeah.
That commitment to sustainability and the innovative format are big pluses for me. I agree. It's good to see them, taking that extra step and trying to make a positive impact. I think that definitely makes me want to try them even more. Feels like we've covered everything, haven't we? What are your final thoughts on these KitKat Sharing Bars?
I think they're a pretty good step forward for KitKat. They've managed to combine, that indulgent treat with a commitment to sustainability. And that's something I think a lot of people are looking for these days.
Yeah, it does feel like they're tapping into something, bigger than just a new chocolate bar.
Absolutely. It's like there's this growing awareness that our choices are all connected, right?
Yeah.
The food we buy, the impact it has on the planet.
It all matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you have it. You've heard all about these new KitKat Sharing Bars, the flavors, the format, the story behind them. Now it's up to you to decide.
Right.
Are you going to be tempted? Are you going to give them a try?
We've given you all the info you need to make an informed choice.
But before you rush off to the shops, we want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
What if this is just the beginning?
What do you mean?
What if this launch is just the start of like a whole wave of innovation from KitKat?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Imagine like new flavors, different formats, maybe even collaborations with other brands.
Interesting.
A KitKat brownie hybrid, a limited edition flavor inspired by, I don't know, some crazy dessert.
You're just teasing me.
The possibilities are endless.
It's true. The potential is really exciting. I think this launch shows that they're willing to, push the boundaries a bit.
Yeah.
Surprise us.
And that's part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
That anticipation of like, what are they going to come up with next?
Exactly. And who knows, maybe they'll even take inspiration from their fans.
Ooh, good point.
What kind of KitKat innovations would you like to see? What flavors? What formats?
Yeah, let us know. Share your wildest KitKat dreams with us on social media.
Who knows, maybe your idea will be the next big thing.
Until next time, happy snacking.